G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. Today I want to show you something about the evolution of the firefighting flying helmet. Yeah, you heard me right, a firefighting flying helmet. Now, how would you hybridize a flying helmet with a firefighting helmet, and why would you want to? Interesting question. So let's have a look at the features of a firefighting helmet. And we see it's got a hard shell with mounting points for an interior impact webbing. It's got highly reflective strips so that if it's dark or smoky and somebody else has got a torch or headlights, they can see where you are. It's white, so it sticks out in even low light conditions. It's got an elastic strap which is attached with deliberate weak points so that there's virtually no chance of being caught by the neck if you're running under a low branch and get hooked up on the brim. At the other end we have this neck shield which rolls down and keeps the burning embers off your delicate skin. In there is a set of goggles, vastly improved from the old ones which used to have foam for comfort which lets smoke get into your goggle space and sting your eyes. The latest smoke goggles conform to your face, but there's no provision on the helmet to hold the goggle strap in place in the event of high wind speeds. In the airspace between the suspension webbing and the hard shell, there's room for an ash mask and a Nomex flash hood, again inside a protective plastic bag. That's your basic walk around briefing of a firefighting helmet. Whereas the salient feature of a flying helmet is that it has ear protection to cut down on the noise of the engines. It keeps the wind off your head, and it has a permanent attachment for the goggles to stop the wind from blowing them off your head. And even when the first jets came out and people started wearing hard shell protectors, they still had a bone dome liner which had provision for goggle straps, hearing protection with earphones inside the ear muffs. So, who might design a firefighting flying helmet, hybrid cross, and what might it look like, and why would you want one? Well, here's who might want one: the rural fire services. And there we see the goggles, and here we notice something a little bit strange. It's a rural fire service helmet, but it doesn't have a brim to keep the embers off your nose. That's a bit unusual. No brim, but it's got goggles and it's got a hard shell. And when we look here at the goggles, we see that their strap, elasticated though it may be, it goes back to a press stud fastener that holds it firmly attached to the helmet. And again we see that there's still no brim to the helmet, which has been cut away and had its edge softened by a rubber beading. As well as the permanently attached goggles, or firmly attached, they're not permanently attached because they can be taken off, there's a set of folding gimbaled noise protecting ear cans. I'm not sure whether they have provision for earphones as well, but that's certainly substantial ear protection. And up here we have a legend, RAFT. So it's a RAFT helmet, Remote Area Firefighting Team. because when they're dangling underneath a helicopter, a regular helmet would have a few problems. Part 1, line 1, the goggles might get blown off if you didn't have them down over your eyes. Part 2, line 1, looking up, you're not going to be able to see the helicopter because the brim's going to be in the way, and it may even get caught on the cable. Also, helicopters are really loud, and raft members spend a lot of their time using chainsaws and loud small engines. So they need a helmet with goggles attached, earmuffs attached, no brim, and it's a crash helmet. And with no brim to hook on the tree branches, it doesn't need quick release points or weak points on its straps. So, there you have it, the Firefighting Flying Helmet Hybrid, which I saw recently in an unguarded moment and was able to photograph for posterity. And because I've had a bit of a hat fetish ever since I was probably 3 years old, particularly for flying helmets. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.